Hi, I'm Ade. The topic of this video will be the biohazard map. There's already a really good video out there, Maxtasy's map analysis from September 2013. This video will build on top of that with more angles, some tips and hops, plus a gameplay section that I split in 4 stages for hopefully an easy digestion. As usual, if even one person finds this helpful, then it was worth it. One thing Max said was, when enemy has RPG control, look for angles for crossbow and orb without getting seen. And don't go main to feed. But crossbow hasn't been used much versus RPG. If you can get to it alive, just go RPG. Use crossbow to open RPG door or pre-fire prison. Max warns that some players will camp main. He shows angles for tele, and with the pillars, an alternative is this. The vid does fade out a few times. I believe he was trying to show ceiling orb angles towards RPG. A good point he's making is the enemy will be busy with Juggernaut trying to catch your orb, and that would be a good time to attack with Shoddy, etc. He also shows some other cool angles. The fence hole works for RPG and nades as well. Here's an alternative to the one for the charger. Orbs towards the RPG door from under charger are standard, whether aiming for the stairs part or the crossbow part. There's various ones around the 2 orb items versus RPG or main control from near under charger and from AR2 area. Just shoot towards charger exits or health pack exit, but these angles are not so well established. I will show one more orb angle later on that's not in mid or main. For mag angles, he shows very good peek and slice ones. The charger one he was trying to show was an evolved one of the closer one. The counter to that, if you don't want to snipe back with crossbow or mag, is to just chuck nades or SMG nades or RPG or constantly move while charging to avoid shots. Enemy will hesitate till you're set in a motion pattern. Other angles. Some more tips. RPG door can be opened with any damage dealer, including 3rd rocket if enemy is not around. Overkill. If enemy masks an audio cue and they show up from tele and is a flying monkey, my 1 rocket might miss partially or fully if I can't aim or I can't wait for them to land. A gun follow-up might not be as strong. A rocket follow-up is better. Other tips for taking RPG. You can take RPG from charger. Use cover fire depending on where you come from. If enemy is throwing stuff at you, spam G-gun right click. Other tips. Can hide laser on railing while charging. Maybe enemy lost track of RPG drops or rocket count. Tele tips. Following enemy into tele is risky. They could be waiting with a prop, explosive barrel, shotgun, or even nade. If you don't know where enemy is, tele is risky. It could be blocked by a prop, or enemy could be waiting like in the first shot video, or surprise, another rogue nade. Some hops. As mentioned in the Lost Arena hops video, railings offer more space to curve. Same with this window here, you have more space to manifest yourself, whether you have taken RPG or just come from around RPG door area. How to land charger. Otherwise, the stairs will stop you or bounce you off them and onto the floor. The gameplay section. The first stage is where most are stuck in for years and some fall back into from time to time if on autopilot or having fun, but it can lose them the game. This stage is the rush main through bottom versus RPG control on repeat, aka feed. Whether done with shoddy or nades is just bad without any preceding attacks from cover. In through bottom it's worse since without air control you are an easier RPG target. Couple of asterisks since nades are situational. Nade rushing was made for interrupting RPG take or killing enemy that has RPG. It's not for everything under the sun. After one death, no streak, nade rush is okay. If this is your nth death via other means and not via rushing, maybe bad spawns, nade rush is okay to jihad and reset enemy that has RPG. My recommendation is, if rushing failed once, stop. Nade rushing is not for everyone. Let's look at number 4. Nade rush on repeat means nade rushes have led to a string of deaths and survivability after spawn condition is not met. Same for shotgun rush on repeat. Instead of rushing, use orbs and mag as openers. Even nades are okay if from out of vision. Just don't fully commit if you miss. Instead, retreat, heal up, try again later. At this stage, players also have a hard time gauging if enemy is still controlling main, so they will blindly rush main to get RPG and end up feeding some more in the process. When enemy actually loses RPG control, Honor players won't even go for RPG, even though Biohazard is an RPG heavy map with a layout that makes it an absolute joy to use RPG in. On any map, the math behind going for RPG versus chasing a kill is this: 3 kills are better than 1. On any map that's RPG centered and or where RPG is available right away, if we spawn close to it, we need to go straight for it, starting at 0 minutes 0 seconds. Proximity wins the race, as Maxisy explains in another video of his match analysis from October 2014. The second stage is the RPG counter and the back and forth control. You are no longer feeding as much when enemy camps with RPG in main. You are now starting to play Biohazard. The main counters to RPG are in general orb and mag. These can be accompanied by crossbow, SMG nades, and nades. And shoddy is a close range finisher. But if everything else is done right, this is not needed. Enemy should be dead by all other means or weapons. But wait, enemies on par with you does not feed as much either and kills you with the same orb and mag angles when you camp with RPG, hence the back and forth. A lead isn't always easy to keep. Basic tips to holding main would be knowing where projectiles might be coming from, not exposing yourself to too many angles while still having a somewhat overview of the entryways, and careful positioning to avoid ambushes. The first 2 stages apply to TDM as well. Stage 1 gets worse. Bottom resources being split means less loot per player, easier to die to RPG if rushing on repeat. Best bet will remain orbs and mag. It only takes 1 player on Team A to feed for Team B to maintain RPG control. The third stage is looking for kills or setting up for them. Whether ahead or behind in frags, camping main with RPG will no longer pay off as much, since good opponents will not rush main to feed. Another important refresher from Max's video. It might even be dangerous at times to attempt camping. The basic tips to holding main need an upgrade. I might add another downside: few spawn kills in comparison to other maps where watching 3 points is possible. Biomain only covers 2 areas successfully: water and undercharger. Teleand is not guaranteed, they can actually reverse spawn kill with barrel. The rules of the game still apply. Control points such as supercharger, AR2 plus orbs, and key stashes are still active. If you insist on holding main, gather the water orb if you have AR2 and or the SMG nade. You can also spam if it's too quiet for too long to ensure enemy makes some G-gun or health pack sound so you are not taken by surprise, and to ensure enemy is busy gathering health to stay alive rather than planning sneaky ways to attack you. This spam can be either RPG or nades, and this works actually for various styles, stationary or brief camping, or constantly on the move, or a combination of these. Since camping is no longer as viable for keeping a lead, there are alternatives such as first shot and running away. Maxtasy's video mentions a good example of someone camping tele then taking it as soon as they are spotted in order to avoid all damage. Some players might slow the game down to keep even a 1 frag lead or to set up for kills, but it will no longer be in main. In general, looking for kills is done either when behind or comfortably ahead. Also, depending on players' styles, there are other ways of making a comeback besides chasing kills, such as slowing down the game or setting up an ambush. No matter the state or the pace of the game, if at any point the enemy gets RPG control, just implement how to versus RPG. Keep in mind, if you are in the lead, it's okay if they choose to camp, and it is still okay if they choose to hunt, as long as you can avoid their RPG by being on the opposite side of the map or under them or simply running away. It's all part of RPG counter and keeping a lead in general. The fourth stage is the mind games. For some, 3 and 4 are intertwined, for others not so much. This fourth stage is about tracking the enemy's whereabouts and inventory and determining their next location based on their patterns and player tendencies. Why player tendencies and not enemy tendencies? A pattern is specific to a player. It can be established in the first part of a game, or over the course of some games as that player shows a predilection towards one weapon, RPG, one pace, rush, or one path, mag after tele end. And preparedness is a counter. A tendency is broader, less accurate, and can be done by many players. Example, a good number of players will take tele after a stash sound cue. A tendency can even be per region. NA players will bait RPG more often than other regions. And I won't detail it further, but I will give some examples. First one, or rather the result of a pattern, was the Here Mousy Mousy video, as some players show a pattern in their first 2 minutes of a game, and very few backtrack or break pattern. After taking Arena Suit, player went blue instead of AR2 in 2 out of 2 situations. Throughout the rest of the game, more often than not, they did the same. Chances were they were going to do the same after Arena Suit sound cue towards the end of the game. When they were late, I got impatient, hence me firing my AR2 at the wall. Another example is of course the bio one. Shout out to Jerk. Enemy established a path after getting hurt at RPG door. Prison, stairs, stash, TP. So the next time I assess enemy getting hurt around RPG door, either by my nade from out of vision or by another enemy, if I'm under charger, all I have to do is take 2 steps to bath and toss a well-timed explosive barrel towards the bottom of the stairs. If the barrel is not there, this is biohazard and I should have either orbs or RPG. All maps have this wonderful enemy tracking stage of the game. But on bio, it's heavily gated by the first 2 stages. For more pattern and tracking examples on bio with commentary, just watch Maxtasy's match analysis. For stage 3 in TDM, obviously communication is important, and you don't have to give callouts. You can have binds such as charging and me at RPG, plus listening to teammates is also part of communication. Looking for kills applies here as well. Watch Bone Stars vs Sanctuary Warriors. Combine team are seen both in main with RPG or RPG access a couple of times throughout, but watch what happens and or what they choose to do. For stage 4 in TDM, enemy patterns and tracking will be harder but still doable. And we already covered player tendencies and pre-established enemy patterns. Not much has changed since 2013 for bio, except for maybe some new angles. But that's the case with all maps. For instance, using orbs from a safe spot with walls next to us or behind us to kick off the tracking device. Unless I missed some other commentary videos, or more tried and true gameplay trends and methods. Feel free to comment with your own tips or make your own video with insight regarding this map, then link it here.